We now welcome UFC featherweight Cub Swanson. Cub, thank you for the time, sir.
No worries.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey Cub, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. So the obvious question, you are coming off the injury, the surgery, the recovery this year. Can you just talk about what that was like this year in 2020?
It was tough. I pretty much was doing physical therapy 3 times a week and then like a regular strength training twice a week because I didn't want to lose mobility in my shoulders and definition in other places. So basically me and my wife, we lost our babysitter because we weren't, with the lockdowns and everything. We were trading off. I would work out all morning and then be with the kids at night, and she would go to work. So that was our schedule, and I was doing 5 days a week. And I pretty much maintained that all year. Even with the quarantines, when that happened, I was able to continue to work out because it was essential. I just had to do it with a mask on, which wasn't easy. Sometimes doing 2.5 hour workouts with the mask on. So I didn't get why people were complaining about it. But yeah, it was difficult, but I got through and I'm here and I'm ready.
I saw you talk to MMA Junkie Radio, and you brought up something that I'd really like to know a lot more about. You spoke to Dominic Cruz about getting unranked, like asking them to take away your ranking. How the heck does that work? Because I feel like a bunch of guys would benefit from that.
Well, it's not something I did. Unfortunately, it worked out that I got unranked by losing the fights. But it was just something that he said to me when we were at the PI a while ago, and I was like, man, I never thought of that. Didn't even know that was an option. But all I was trying to make the point is that it is a little freeing, somewhere along the line. And I've said this many times that my goal when I got into the sport was to just try to be a better human and to try to see how good I could be. And by accomplishing goals. But somewhere along the line, you feel like you have to be the world champ to be validated that, doing this as a career. And I feel like I earned the right to try, but was never given that opportunity. Multiple times, so that left me a little bitter over time. But when I really thought about it, that was never my goal. To have a shiny belt was never my ultimate goal. It would have been nice to have that stamp on my career, and I would, if it was offered to me, I would still take it. But my ultimate goal is to be the best version of myself. And now that I'm not worried about like any kind of rankings or anything like that, I get excited about names and possibilities of fights. And I talked about possibly 135, 155, staying at this weight. Like, I just feel excited about the options. Like, ooh, I could do that. I could do that. And that excites me.
So I guess if you had to pick, would you want to be matched up with another legend, or would you care about, hey, this guy at this time is maybe the number 2 ranked guy, this could be a potential title? Like, what is Cub Swanson's, like, if he could pick, who does he want? Like, what kind of fight does he want, regardless of the numbers now?
I think the legends fight are cool because when you look back on your career, they'll say, man, you fought so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. It's like when you fought kind of the who's who, it that in itself is an accomplishment. Just to have the opportunity to share the ring with some of the best. So, I'd love to fight some of my old WC guys that I never was able to get matched up with. But, I'm still up for fighting the hungry up-and-comers and trying to teach them a lesson. But the thing about the whole rankings is like, I just never was going to try to beg or plead my case. Like I see some of the guys now that are like arguing over social media about how bad they want it and trying to like pick fights. And that doesn't interest me. I just want a fight and I want to train for it and I want to win. That's what I like to do. I don't want to be bickering and arguing and doing the whole "hey, look at me" thing. That I'm just not into that part of it.
Hey, thank you, Cub. Appreciate the time.
Mm-hmm.
We will take our next set of questions from Steven Morocco with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Cub. So the last time we saw you, you shut down Kron. Then you did this grappling competition. You did a great job. You tore your knee. How much, if at all, do you think about luck in the fight game and specifically your luck?
I mean, I think about it sometimes, and I don't really think I have bad luck. I think that one thing that I've prided myself on is that tough situations make for tougher people, and that was one of my goals as well as getting into the sport. Is I wanted to be a tougher human. I wanted to be a tougher man, and basically when I had kids, I'd be able to be like a superhero to them, and I feel like I'm accomplishing that. So all these like tough times that I've had in my career, I've just been able to prove that I can persevere, and to me that means everything.
What sort of care do you think you're going to need long term for the injuries that you sustained in the octagon?
I wonder that, especially like I said, with having to have kids, I just hope that I'm able to, have health insurance all the way through and get the things I need to get done. I realize that I've, put my body through a lot, and but I've always thought at the same time, like if I was a plumber or any kind of worker in that industry, which a lot of people that I grew up with are, I would imagine that their bodies feel the same. Their backs are wrecked, but they would have just been a lot more unhealthy with their eating. So I think I've abused my joints and things like that, but I've been eating healthy and not doing drugs and things like that for so long that I feel like I've treated my body good in that sense. So like I said, it's on my mind here and there, but I think as long as I stay in shape and do all the things necessary to clean up my joints and do all that kind of stuff, that I'll be fine.
Do you think that the UFC should offer any kind of long-term health insurance for veterans like you?
I definitely do, but that's not my call. I definitely think that a lot of these fighters should be taken care of long term. But I think that I feel like we're in that kind of situation where it's like the early NFL players, like we're the ones that kind of set the the standard, and then the people, the next generation, are probably going to get all those benefits when from us growing the sport. But I also can't try to rip on them in any way, because they've been blessed me with the opportunity to have a great life. And when I did injure this knee, that I was insured through the grappling tournament, and the UFC was like, no, we're going to handle it. And they took over, and they made sure I got to see the right surgeon, and they were on top of it, paid for everything. So, they do a good job with things like that. But as far as making sure we're taken care of long term, I hopefully that happens in the future.
Random question now. I don't think I know a fighter that's broken his hands more than you. And I was talking to Trevor Whitman, or Trevor Whitman was giving an interview to fighters, or to the media in Fight Island a little while ago, and he was talking about how difficult it is to punch with the correct knuckles when you put on the UFC glove. Do you experience that at all?
Yeah, I've said it for a long time that I wasn't a fan of the way they're made. I don't think it's an easy fix. They've asked me, because I've been outspoken about it before. They've asked me what I would change about it, and I've kind of told them, but I don't think I have all the answers because I think it would take, definitely a team of people over time to make them perfect. But yeah, I definitely think that it's hard to grapple and strike and do all that with the gloves and the wraps that we have. I definitely think that I have thinner bones in my hands. So that's a little bit of genetics, but yeah, I think the thing about boxing is their gloves are different, obviously, but you're always in a position to strike with the right angles and the right alignment. The first time I broke my hand in a fight, it was because I was in a heel hook and I leaned over and I threw kind of like a downward arcing strike, and I hit it with one knuckle as opposed to two or three knuckles, and all that force was on one knuckle and it just popped straight up. So I think the angles that we have to fight at are extremely difficult, and the gloves could be a lot better, but it's going to take some time.
Thank you, Cub.
We will take our next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Cub, how's it going?
How's it going?
Good. Just wanted to see. You had fought Crone Gracie about 14 months ago, so that's a long layoff. And of course, you tore your ACL and meniscus. So, what's it like coming back? 14 months later. Is that a difficult process?
Yeah, the process in general is very difficult. I think I already answered that as far as how it all happened. The comeback is basically like 10 months of rehab, and then the last couple of months has been like a solid camp. I was able to do some sparring way ahead of that, helping my buddy Juan Archuleta, and then I helped a couple other fighters, including Brian Ortega, and I was able to kind of test the waters, see what I could handle, what I couldn't handle. But by the time I started my fight camp, I was completely confident in my knee. And we trained all camp knowing that whoever I fought was going to try to kick me in the knee. So I'm very happy with what I was able to do and where I'm at.
For sure. And you're coming back against a tough opponent in Daniel Pineda. He's also a veteran. So, what's your thoughts on Daniel going into this fight?
I mean, my initial thoughts was he's tough everywhere. And one of the biggest things I see is no matter what position you're in, he's trying to do damage. You take his back, he's trying to elbow you. Even if you're on top of him, he's trying to hit you. So if I want to keep a clean face in this fight, I got to be aware the entire time. But yeah, he's pretty well rounded. I think his strength is probably his ground game, but he's obviously originally a wrestler. And his, he's got some power in his hands. So, I think the fact that he's well-rounded was a little bit easier for me to train because I don't have to focus on one thing. I was really able just to, be me. And, I plan on going out there and just flowing on them.
For sure. And one last thing was, I know you had mentioned, you like fighting the up and comers, in the sport, and especially in the featherweight division. So, are there any names that are, on your list after this fight, in terms of up and comers in the featherweight division?
As far as up and comers, I never really like to call anyone out because just the possibilities are endless, and I always like to see, when I'm ready to fight, who they have available and pick from those names. I don't like to pigeonhole myself with anyone in particular, but I definitely would like to run it back with Shane Burgos at some point. I feel like I didn't show my best in that match, and I think he's such an exciting fighter, and I am as well. And I feel like I could have done more in that fight, and it disappoints me. So that's a fight I'd like to do again in this division. Other than that, if they want to, pull a Rocky move and let me fight for the title, I'll take that. But other than that, I'd be open to fighting other weight classes or anyone. I don't care really.
For sure. Well, I personally would love to see you fight for the title. That'd be awesome. But thanks for giving us some time here, Cub. I appreciate it. Look forward to your fight, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll take our next set of questions from Chester Luo with PP Sport.
Cub, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm Chester from PP Sport China, and good to see you recover from the ACL injuries and back into the octagon. And it has been a very long time since your last victory over Crown Gracie. So, how do you feel during? How do you feel during this unusual year?
Well, I think everyone's been struggling this year, so I don't, I feel very normal in that aspect. Everyone's having a tough time. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to work in this, time, because a lot of people aren't able to work. So I feel blessed about that. I feel blessed that I was able to come back strong from this injury. And, as far as being a long layoff, I've been doing this a long time. I don't think it's anything different than I've done before. So I'm excited. I'm just excited to basically get back to work and earn some money and have some fun in there.
Okay. And my next question is: you had some ups and downs from the 2017 to the 2019. So, however, you had said that you're still growing and learning when you're facing those top fighters. So, how long do you think you need to be one of those top fighters in your division?
I don't know. I'm taking it one fight at a time. I think I've been doing this a long time, and I'm not going to be fighting forever. So I don't feel like I need to be gunning to compare myself to any other fighters. Like I said, I know I have my best fight still in front of me, and I'm taking it one fight at a time, just trying to enjoy it. Like I said about the not being ranked, I feel it's a little freeing. I can kind of move about and not have to worry about the ladder. It's a little bit of a stress reliever. Like I said, they give me a name, I'm like, cool, let's do it. And to me, that's enjoyable.
Okay, thank you for your time, Cup. Good luck to your Saturday, and hope you put on another great show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll take the next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hey, Cub, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, how went your recovery? Do you feel frustrated at any point because you want to be back on the octagon?
Well, 100%. That financially it was a tough year, but I feel like it was for everybody. So, being able to just provide for my family was a little stressful. But knowing that when I was going to be healthy, that I would have a job to do was motivating to want to get back to full strength. But yeah, it was a frustrating time this whole year. And I feel very grateful to be here.
I get it. So Daniel is a very tough competitor. He's a veteran in the game. Also, you are. You face everything on the octagon? So what do you expect from him as an opponent?
Well, anytime I'm the bigger name in the sport, I know my opponent's going to take this as an opportunity to try to shine and build off of me. So I know that he's been working hard for a long time on the lower circuit, on some other organizations. He's been fighting top competition for a long time, just not in the UFC. So I know he sees this as a big opportunity. I know he's going to come hungry. So I've been preparing for that, and I'm ready. And I think that just makes for a fight of the night.
Get it. It was difficult training under this COVID situation.
Yes, it was. I pretty much kept my training partners to a minimum. I was a little bit, more relaxed in the beginning of camp. Let's say like September, October. But by the time it got to November, I really had to start telling people, hey, no offense, I just can't train with you. I'm not bringing anyone else in. And then when it got to the end of November, in early December, like closing camp, I basically had to tell my training partners, I need you to go get tested. I can't afford not to. I put in too much work and I've done way too much to have someone get me sick and not be able to compete. So there was a little stress on that, but I feel like, you know, everyone's been going through it. So I don't feel like I can complain about it too much.
Okay, so would you like to give us a prediction for your fight?
What would make me happy is a first round finish. Don't care if it's a knockout or submission, but you know, I've been in some wars. I kind of enjoy the wars. My wife doesn't, so she would be happy with a first round finish and be able to get back in there soon. That would be nice. I would like to fight more often if I can, you know, stay healthy.
Okay, okay. So as an Ecuadorian, I want to ask you, you train with Chito and you face Jose Aldo.
Sorry, I think I lost you.
You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
I train with Chito and what?
and you face Jose Aldo. So what's your prediction for that fight?
You're going in and out. Man, that's a big step up for Chito, but he's gotten so much better. That I've known Chito since before the Ultimate Fighter, the Latin Ultimate Fighter, and he was at Jackson's, and I think he was one of the more inexperienced ones of the group that was there, and I felt like he was kind of treated like an outsider, and just to see him where he's at mentally and what he's done with his game and how far he's come and how hard he works, I'm really proud of him. And I think for him to be able to fight Jose Aldo is a huge opportunity for him. And as far as how I think the fight will go, I think I don't think he'll be the favorite in the fight, but I really like his chances. I think that he's very unorthodox. You really don't know what he's going to throw. He's pretty well rounded and he's game. Obviously, Aldo's been in a lot of wars. You kind of know what he brings to the table. You can game plan for him. So I really like Chito's chances. I think it's a tough fight, but I really could see him pulling it off, and I'd be happy for him.
Okay. Would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
Of course. I've traveled all over. I haven't been to Ecuador yet. Chito has invited me many times, and that's one place I would love to go. One of my favorite things is to travel and meet fans in different countries and be, you know, kind of like a pioneer of the sport in these smaller places. So, you know, any Ecuadorian fans I have out there, I appreciate you. And if I come out there, please come see me. I'd love to meet you.
Okay, thank you very much, Cub, and good luck on your fight.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Cub, you have a ton of experience, but since this is your first fight during the pandemic, I want to know, because a lot of things of this fight week might be new for you. So how are you living this new normality in the fighting game?
Well, it's been different, but I feel like I've kind of adjusted to it because I've been quarantined at home with my kids for the whole year. So this is like I've had like 4 days break of no crying. So that has been, you know, some stress off my back. But you know, I'm enjoying the new experience. It hasn't bothered me at all. It's been pretty relaxed. We've been, you know, it's usually, you know, talking to you guys that stresses me out more than anything. So I haven't had to do too much of that. Just focus on the fight. And yeah, I'm excited. The fact that there's going to be no crowd, I'm excited about that too. I think it could really elevate my game and just have to focus on just my opponent, which I think is all I should be focusing on.
Oh, so you prefer no crowd and at the stadium?
Yeah. I honestly, I like the crowd. It's been awesome, but I really feel like there's tons of athletes that, you know, don't shine when there's a crowd. So I just think that I spend a lot of time looking at sports and seeing like why some athletes make it and some don't. That's always intrigued me, and I feel like some of them just don't handle the crowd so well, and that extra pressure the crowd brings. I feel like fighting in an arena like this with no crowd and just you and your opponent is like being at the gym with a lot riding on it.
Awesome. And Cub, my last question. You have been talking about this possibility of going up or down between divisions. So first I want to know what's more likely for you, if 135 or 155. And if you say 135, I want to know what do you think about the rematch against Jose Aldo? Because I think a lot of fans would love that fight.
Yeah, I think that if I, put my body through it, to go down to 135, the only two fights I really want is probably Aldo or Uriah, just for the fan's sake. But if I went up, it would be also like I said, like an Anthony Pettis or somebody that's exciting to me. People may want to see me and Charles Oliveira again or something. But yeah, like I said, I just want to have exciting fights, and this is a comeback fight for me, just to show that I'm still here, I still got it, and I'm getting better. Then after this, if they want to throw me something fun, then that would be exciting.
Sounds great, man. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We will take our last set of questions from Omar Mert-Savci with S Sport.
Okay.
Hello, Cub. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks, man. Cub, my question is, what do you think about UFC releasing Yoel Romero?
I mean, I was kind of shocked, but from a business standpoint, I guess it makes sense. He got to fight for the title. He's fought all the guys at the top, and then I feel like at this point, all he's going to do is take out all the up and comers and get, stop them from getting title fights. But I mean, it's not my decision. Like I said, I thought he was exciting, but I feel like we did see a little bit of a decline from him in his last couple of performances. So it kind of made sense.
Okay, my last question. Who do you think is the greatest of all time in all MMA history?
Whew.
Hard question, right?
Yeah. I'd have to say I could there. It's hard because for my reasons, I think Anderson Silva, has, stuck around a little longer than he probably should have. But he loves to compete, and I don't hate on the fact that he still wants to fight. John Jones is probably one of the most amazing we've seen. But with his issues outside and I feel like he shoots himself in the foot a lot. That kind of takes it away from me as well. I think George St. Pierre is probably one of my favorites because of the way he carried himself as a champion the whole time, and I think he represented the sport as as one of the best. So just because I like that, I'd probably say between him and Demetrius Johnson, who doesn't get enough credit. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of a hard question to answer because it depends on what part of the sport you're giving the most basis on. If it's on just dominating a division the longest, I feel like Anderson Silva. But for me, character comes into it, and so I'd have to say Demetrius and GSP.
Okay, thank you, Cub. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Cub. That is all the questions we had for you, sir. We really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.